All right, folks, welcome back. Apologies for no streams. I was at a wedding from Thursday till Sunday, and then, recovering from the wedding yesterday, but we are back. Little programming note, not so sure about the best ball leaderboard show for tomorrow. It is my girlfriend's birthday, so we'll see. We'll see what we can do there, folks. I think I'll try to do solo something. We got to go all the way back to Thursday night here. So much has happened. Bills defeated the Dolphins. Thursday night games, always weird. The players do not like them because it's short rest for them, right? So can always expect some weirdness there. Oh man. We almost got fourth in Battle Royale or whatever, week 1. And then I'm in the airport on the way to New York City, and I put together a little underdog thing where I'm like, you know what? Let's have a sweat for the game. I'm watching the Bills game in the airport. And here, I finally found the slip. I had to scroll. Brutal. Some brutal luck here. So the ticket was $50 to win $4,000, pretty much $3.9K. What I had in there was Kincaid over receiving, Jackson Hawes touchdown, and I profit boosted it, which is why it was 80x. And then what I originally had in here is that Achane over 5.5 receptions. And then I was like, you know what? 6 is a lot. And then what I tried to find is the Matthew Golden receiving yards because I felt good about him that week. He almost had a 96-yard touchdown. And finally, I was like, you know what? But the Golden stuff wasn't in the app. And the airport's, booking up, whatever. So I'm like, okay, fine. Tyreek lower, right? Bedford's a good corner. Bills pass rush should get home. End up losing on a last-second touchdown by 1 point. He does not touch the ball after this. And if you remember that game, he starts the game with a bobble where he catches it out of bounds. If that was challenged, which of course the Bills aren't going to challenge that, it wasn't a catch. Like, it wasn't a catch. You go back and watch it. He doesn't hit. Catches the touchdown. Game's kind of out of hand there for us to lose on literally the last drive. So anyways, razor thin edge, right? This was to go from $50 to $4,000. Would have been a nice start to the season. Instead, we lose. But the Bills won, so can't be too upset. We're going to use Nathan Yonke PFF snap count stuff to go through these games. Going to try to go through these quick, rapid fire. The Bills did prevail 31-21. 2 through 2 touchdowns. Achane, a good game, 12 for 62, 7 for 29 in the air for him. Ollie Gordon played more in this one, 9 for 40 and a touchdown. So have to see if he gets worked in more. Tyreek, 5 for 50 and a touchdown. Waddle, 5 for 40 and a touchdown. Tyreek clearly still has it to me. It's just Tua does not, man. 152 touchdowns. I don't really think Mike McDaniel should get fired unless he's the one caping up for Tua, but something's going to happen. Josh Allen, 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. James Cook, look at him again. 20 carries, 108 yards and a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid, 566 and 1. He had another touchdown deflected from him at the last second. And then he got tackled at the 1-yard line, which turned into a Cook touchdown. Cook getting the carries on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, or a goal line 1-yard carry. Like, that's what I said, man, is like, I don't think Josh Allen's going to steal these touchdowns forever against bad teams. Huge for Cook's fantasy value. And Kincaid could have had 3 touchdowns this game. Shakir, 550 and 1. Keon, nothing doing in this one, 3 for 20. Yeah, not every Bills guy can score 20 points every week, but a lot of them can get there. Kincaid got there, Shakir got there, Cook got there, Allen got there. no Keon in this one. And it's gonna be like that, right? It's gonna be Keon in 1 week. It's gonna be Kincaid another. It's gonna be whatever. Kincaid, though, the haters can say whatever they want, not playing snap counts. If you just open your eyes and watch the games, he looks good. He just looks straight up good. And he's earning more of a role. Usage wise, don't know if there's anything too meaningful for them. The big one is that Josh Palmer lost snaps in this one in routes. And Josh Palmer's going to have some boom bust games here or there. But yeah, that's why I wasn't as into Palmer as other people. Dawson Knox ran 12 routes, no targets though. Kincaid only 20 routes, but 6 targets, pretty strong. And then James Cook is just playing more and more. 19 of 25 carries. Ray Davis seems to have lost his job a little bit to Ty Johnson, maybe. He's not looked good, to be real with you. And Cook is playing more and more. He's pass protecting, so pretty awesome for Cook. Malik Washington is your clear wide receiver 3 for the Dolphins. He became a target late in the year for me. And Ollie Gordon, 15 snaps to 47 for Achane. 9 carries to 12, though. And looks like he could get some goal line work. Achane got goal line work as well. So I think Ollie Gordon's best ball is ahead of him. Okay, running through Sunday. A lot of injuries, folks. A lot of injuries is kind of the theme this week. James Conner out for the year. Joe Burrow pretty much out for the year. Let me see what else I remember. Jaden Reed pretty much out for the year. Maybe not. Mike Evans going to be on, I don't know if he'll be on IR, but he's going to miss at least 2 games, maybe 3. They said the hamstring's not as bad as last year's where he missed 3. Zach Charbonnet practiced again. CD Lamb probably goes on IR. Tyrone Tracy is going to miss 2 to 4 weeks. I think those are the big injuries. Jaden Daniels probably misses another week. We'll see there. Y'all help me out if I'm missing any injuries. But that's the top-down injury report. Oh, Aaron Jones is on IR. All right. Falcons get absolutely destroyed by the Panthers in this one. Bizarro world. You would think that Panthers fantasy pieces had a good day, but not really. It was the defense. 30-0. Michael Penix played terrible. 172 passing yards, 2 interceptions. Bijan, a fine game. 13 for 72. Someone named Nathan Carter had 7 for 46. I legit don't know who that is. Is Nathan Carter the backup quarterback, guys? Who is Nathan Carter? Help me out. Is that the fullback? Drake London, 5 for 55. Darnell Mooney got going in this one, 5 for 44. Bunch of targets, too. Bijan and Pitts, whatever, 5 for 40. 4 for 40. Panthers, yeah, Bryce Young only 121 passing yards. Chuba Hubbard, 17 carries, 73 yards, no touchdowns. Rico scored a touchdown. Bryce Young scored a rushing touchdown. Ted McMillan, 3 for 50. So Panthers dropped 30, and absolutely no one's fantasy relevant outside of Bijan in this game. 10 targets for Darnell Mooney, so good games are coming there. Ray McLeod played a ton in a trailing game script. He was not playing this much before, 30 routes for him. Kyle Pitts, 43 routes, 5 targets, better days ahead there. Yeah, I guess in the trailing game script, they said enough Tyler Algier. He's going to be playing when they're ahead. It's the Nathan Carter show, who I'm assuming he just played in the blowout, and it's Bijan. Bijan running 36 routes, so better fantasy days ahead for Bijan. Panthers, David Moore was your wide receiver 2 in routes with Leggett missing this one. Jatavian Sanders, I think, is on IR. So Tommy Tremble will be the tight end there. Renfro, nothing doing here. The Chuba Rico split, 36 snaps to 23, 12 routes to 7, 17 carries to 10. Oh, also wanted to run through, subscribers of beatbestball.com. I wrote this article in April about targets for this year. Absolutely slam dunk article from April 15th P-Draft. I wrote up 3 picks in each round. So round 1, I highlighted Puka, Puka was my 107 for pretty much the whole year, and I got a little cute in BBM. I have 21% Puka and DK, I think, but in BBM, just because I knew he was available in the second, I was like, well, I'll take Nico and try to get Puka more in the second, and then I didn't get as much Puka, so I still got a lot of Puka, but I have more Nico because of that. Highlighted Jonathan Taylor, who is like arguably the best pick in fantasy right now. Highlighted George Pickens before the trade, obviously more valuable. Highlighted Jordan Love, who looks awesome. Jordan Mason, who looks awesome and obviously benefiting from injury. Tucker Kraft, who is awesome. Highlighted Keenan Allen before he was signed for. Highlighted Cedric Tillman and Jake Ferguson, two guys doing well. Highlighted J.K. Dobbins. Highlighted Tyler Algier, just like a valuable handcuff there. Highlighted Will Shipley. He's not, healthy right now. And highlighted Torrey Horton before the draft, who just had an awesome game. So beatbestball.com, folks. Literally just telling you, here are the skeleton key players. And highlighted James Cook, of course. Where, I wrote a lot about James Cook. In the third, I took, this was about my high stakes write-up, where I took Bowers, Achane, Cook, Lamar. And I also wrote, I like Hampton and Chase Brown as well, but my intuition Buffalo is that Allen will steal less and less rushing touchdowns in the regular season, as long as Buffalo doesn't need him to do that to win games. He took a significant step as a rusher last year, has an elite O-line, and will likely be playing for a new contract. Obviously, he got the contract. And in the managed article where I wrote up my high-stakes team in May, I wrote, in the third, I took James Cook, who is definitely a polarizing pick to some. I was very tempted to pair George Kittle with Bowers, but decided I really do believe in Cook's upside potential this year and want shares on high-stakes teams. Since Joe Brady took over for the Bills' play calling, Cook has been a strong fantasy bet. He was also one of the Bills' best players versus the Chiefs in the playoffs and has ousted Josh Allen, not stealing as many rushing touchdowns this year. They're eventually going to want to save that for big games / playoffs as he ages. Many thought Cook couldn't get any goal line looks on the Bills after not doing so the year before, and then he went out and led the league in touchdowns and was the Bills' goal line back. He's typically been closer to a 50% snap player, but what if that improves to 60%, 70%? My God, it's wheels up, right? So people want to focus on the negative. They don't ask themselves, what if he just gets 10% more snaps? Is there risk with Cook? Sure, of course there is. Ray Davis could be the goal line back instead. Josh could steal rushing work. Bills, though, have an elite offensive line and have repeatedly shown us they like to establish the rock, and Cook runs hard. We're also playing a very top-heavy tournament, so remove the word safety from your vocabulary. The last couple of points of Cook's favor to me is the sprint schedule. Week 15 at New England, week 16 at Cleveland, which Cleveland run defense looks awesome, but still not going to be a good team. And week 17 versus Philly. 2 games the Bills could beat down their opponents, and a third that could be a shootout. I also like that most other drafters who I agree with are out on Cook. I want clean outs to those who generally think like me. I also know I won't be paying high prices on the mid-round running backs, so Cook and Achane give me a duo of running backs I like to start week in and week out. Achane, obviously, I feel a little uneasy about with the team, but pretty awesome start to FFPC tight end premium. Get that and more at beatbestball.com. Only $100 for the year. Moving on from this stinker of a game, Packers lose to the Browns, shaking up survivor pools. I have 7 of my 8 left. How the hell do I log in? On Splash Sports, I did 8 or 7 in the main one. I have all but 1 left. Yeah, I have 7 of 8. The 2 big losers there were the Falcons lost to the Panthers. They were chose like 6%. And the Packers lost. Packers at 12% owned lost. And Falcons at 6% owned lost. We almost got a Chiefs loss. Kind of. Giants just so bad. But got 7 of the rest left. Went mainly with Seattle and Indy. And then the Bucks survived. We'll make those picks later in the week. So the Packers, man, Matthew Golden, I played him everywhere in Battle Royale, wrote him up too. He ran out of bounds on what could have been a 96-yard touchdown. The Packers lost, though. Maybe your NFC favorite. And they lost. I scrolled too much. Let's find the game. 13-10. Jordan Love, 183 yards, a touchdown. He was under a lot of pressure. This Browns defense is no joke. If the Browns hit on a quarterback or the Giants, man, like they're a problem. Yeah, maybe it's on Love. Maybe it's on Love. Hard to say. Josh Jacobs, not a great game. 16 carries, 30 yards, 1.9 average. Matthew Golden, 4 for 52. Not the biggest route run numbers for him. He got involved early. They're going to play the Cowboys this week, though. Could smash. Tucker Kraft, 3 for 29 off the injury. John Fitzpatrick caught a touchdown. Third string tight end. Maybe second string. He outsnapped Musgrave here. Tucker Kraft, though, 23 routes, so clearly healthy. Startable again. Dobbs, Golden, and Wicks are clearly the top 3 guys. No one else is running routes here. And Josh Jacobs still dominating snaps here. In managed leagues, I'd be picking up Marshawn Lloyd because I think Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks, who are changing who's the RB2, are both not great. Browns, nothing really of note other than the running back rotation, I guess. Stat-wise, Quinshon Judkins, 18 carries, 94 yards, a touchdown. David Njoku led the way for receiving, 5 for 40. So Browns couldn't get much going on offense, but they did win. Everyone got like 3 targets in this one. 5 for Judy, 3 for Tillman, 4 for Bond, 3 for Thrash, 7 for Njoku, 4 for Fannin. Harold Fannin, 19 routes to Njoku's 29. Isaiah Bond, 22 routes, so he's playing more. Thrash, only 10 routes. And then the big story here is Dylan Sampson is like an absolute zero right now. Quinshon Judkins, 36 snaps, 14 routes, 1 target, 18 carries. Pretty much all the carries. Jerome Ford, 24 snaps, 13 routes, 4 targets. And then Sampson had 5 snaps. So I still think Ford could get traded at the trade deadline. But Judkins is looking like kind of a league winner in these late rounds as the unquestioned starting running back on a team with a good defense. What's this mean? You're gonna have to fill me in here. I'm only advancing 25 teams right now, but high stakes is going really well for me right now. And I somehow have, we'll talk about best ball later, but I somehow have 38% Trey Tucker in the big dog. Yeah, I guess the Sims folks, how are the Sims doing? I don't think the Sims could see Cook coming. Okay, Texans and Jags. The Jags win 17-10. Travis Hunter is kind of a story here, I guess, stat-wise. Nico Collins, a good game, 8, 104, and 1. Christian Kirk is back healthy, only 3 for 25, though. And then Woody Marks and Nick Chubb, like, pretty much split the rushing work. This team is bad, though, man. The Texans offense, at least. ETN, 16 carries, 56 yards, a touchdown. The Texans let ETN score at the end of the game. 3.5 average. Bishal 2 in 6, 21 and 1. He was limited. He was like in a limited practice jersey, so I think he's going to earn more and more work. And then Strange, 6 for 61. Brian Thomas, 2 for 55. Parker Washington, 4 for 34. Travis Hunter, only 1 catch. Obviously, Hunter's unplayable and managed. He didn't really play that much right now in this game on offense or defense, so don't know what's going on there. He didn't know the playbook at times. I think it will be fine in the future for Hunter, but looks rough right now, obviously. Yeah, Kirk clearly second in routes at wide receiver. The rookies are zeros right now. Texans got to get together, man. Chubb and Woody Marks pretty much equal on carries and routes run. So Chubb should lose more and more. Maybe they trade Dameon Pierce. Jags land. Travis Hunter ran 27 routes, but Diami Brown did get banged up. So 27 routes, only 2 targets. Again, he didn't know the full playbook. That's not good. Parker Washington led the way in targets, and Brian Thomas Jr. also like ducked routes again. Strange though, pretty good game. 31 routes, 7 targets, 6 catches, 61 yards. And then LaQuint Allen played a bunch. Again, Tootin was hurt in this one, or hurt the week before. He did get a goal line carry that he scored a touchdown on, though. And Etienne, a very inefficient 16 carries for 56 yards. Bengals get absolutely destroyed by the Vikings. We're going to do this one really quick. It's over for the Bengals, right? Like the thesis of Chase Brown was that the offense is good. Obviously, without Joe Burrow, like this is maybe one of the worst rosters in football without Joe Burrow. It is that bad. Wentz, 2 touchdowns, 173 yards. Jordan Mason, 16 carries, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jefferson, 5 for 75. Hawkinson, 550 and 1. Wentz is always locked onto tight end, so pretty good for Hawkinson. And nothing doing else. Bengals, everyone is a 0. Chase, 5 for 50. There you go. Chase Brown, 10 carries, 3 yards. My God, I didn't know it was that bad. I'm going to repeat that. 10 carries, 3 yards. When it rains, it pours, folks. When it rains, it pours. Everything is over for the Bengals. I don't think someone asked, will the Bengals get Cousins? I think the Bengals are going to realize that not only should they have fired Zach Taylor and hired Ben Johnson, who for sure would have wanted to work with Joe Burrow, but also their team is so bad that, like, wouldn't they rather just get a high draft pick than do Kirk Cousins or Jameis? Probably. Like, I don't think the owner, who's notoriously cheap, would sign off on them doing a bridge thing. I think they're just like, nope, it's over without Burrow. We're going to suck, right? Vikings defense is awesome, is the best thing you could say for them. Mike Gesicki, terrible pick, 11 routes. Noah Fant, 12 routes. Drew Sample, the blocking tight end, 14 routes. Yeah. Adam Thielen, Jefferson, and Naylor all equal in routes. Addison has served his suspension, so he'll be back next week. And then Jordan Mason pretty much got all the work. Of course, this was a 48-10 game, so Xavier Scott and Cam Akers got in there. Jordan Mason going to be a mini league winner with Aaron Jones out. Legit just good, right? Steelers beat the Patriots, and this is why I was very down on the Patriots hiring Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels. Like, I think Mike Vrabel is an awesome motivator of men, but I think he is a bad coach as far as like optimizing to win. And nothing proves that point more than them stubbornly playing Ramondre, them stubbornly playing Antonio Gibson, both those guys combining for 3 fumbles, and they lose because of it, right? Like, if they had just played their best players, despite them being rookies, Mike Vrabel was the coach when Derrick Henry was like sharing the workload with Dion Lewis. I know that was LaFleur too, but like, he's a good motivator of men. He's not a good like win decision guy. He's not the best playing the best talent either. Like, sure, make them earn the role, but like, just play your best dudes. You know, you're trying to effing win. So they lose 21-14. Rodgers, 2 touchdowns. Jaylen Warren looked awesome. He's looking like he's going to be a league winner. He got stuffed at the goal line twice, and Kenneth Gainwell, or 3 times, and Kenneth Gainwell got in after a penalty and scored a touchdown, but 18 carries for him, 50 yards. Also chipped in 34 yards in the receiving game. Calvin Austin scored a touchdown. DK Metcalf scored a touchdown. Not a lot of yards for them. Patriots, Drake May had a good game, 2 touchdowns. Hunter Henry had an awesome game, 8 for 90 and 2. And then the real question is, like, Henderson played like the whole way after finally the Antonio Gibson fumble. What's that going to look like next week? You got to wonder. Is that going to stick, or are they going to be like, all right, nope, back to Ramondre, back to Gibson? I don't know. And you guys remember, like, when the Pats beats were determined that Stephon Diggs was fully healthy? 3 carries, 23 yards, or 3 catches, 23 yards. Like, looking like a big bust right now. Snap rates, it's Jonnu and Freiermuth. We already kind of knew that. There is no third wide receiver. Roman Wilson is a 0. Jaylen Warren played a bunch. Kenneth Gainwell played a little bit. And Caleb Johnson is a pure 0. Darnell Washington also plays a lot, and like he could just get like 6 touchdowns. He could Robert Tonyan it. They look for him a lot in the red zone. For the Pats, Demario Douglas has been brutally bad. You wonder if they start playing Kyle Williams eventually because of it. And then, yeah, the big question is what's going to be sticky for Henderson for next year or for next week, right? You would like to see Henderson lead the way with Ramondre and Gibson mixing in versus him being like the clear 3, you know? Yeah. These people wanted to attack me, the Caleb truthers, but it's looking so Jover for him. And brutal loss for the Patriots, right? Like they should not have lost this game. It's what bad coaching does for you. Rams somehow lose to the Eagles. Puka Nacua is just purely one of the best players in all of football. 11 catches, 112 yards. Kyren Williams, 20 carries, 94 yards. Did score a receiving touchdown as well. Blake Corum, 8 for 53. Devontae Adams, 356 and 1. He's like a decent buy low. Eagles land. Hurts, 3 touchdowns. Saquon, inefficient day, 2.6 yards per carry. Hurts, rushing touchdown. A.J. Brown, 6, 110 and 1. Devonta Smith, 8 for 60 and 1. And Dallas Goedert, 1 for 33. Don't know if we care about anything in snap count land. Whittington and Tutu, zeros in this game. 18 routes and 12 routes. No targets, though. Tyler Higbee, running routes, no targets. Kyren Williams out snaps Blake Corum 50 to 16, but only out carries him 20 to 8. So Blake's getting carries when he's on the field, basically. And then the Eagles are like the most boring team to look at for this. It's all Saquon. A.J. Dillon's a 0, of course. So they're waiting for Will Shipley, who did practice last week. So Dallas Goedert was healthy this week, 33 routes, only 2 targets, though. Jets and Bucks. The Bucks somehow let the Jets hang around, but they won to improve to 3-0. 29 to 27. Tyrod Taylor, 2 touchdowns, most of it coming in garbage time. Garrett Wilson is becoming a garbage time king, 10, 84 and 1. Lazard caught a touchdown. This team stinks, man. Breece Hall, nothing. Braylon Allen, nothing. Bucks, a touchdown, 233 for Baker. Bucky Irving, 25 carries, 66 yards. That's like crazily inefficient. Emeka Egbuka, who I was dumb and benched for Travis Hunter. Luckily, I would have lost the matchup anyways. 6 for 85. You know, I just thought that like, oh, they'll blow him out. They won't play him a ton. And then Mike Evans got hurt. Mike Evans, 433 and 1. Hope he heals up. Injuries really catching up to my best ball bags and others. Got a lot of Mike Evans, Kittle, etc. Sterling Shepard, 4 for 80. No, don't pick him up. I mean, I guess maybe if you're in like a really deep league. Bucky Irving, 4 for 33 in the air. Jets, I mean, it's so uninteresting. I still think Breece Hall could be traded. 38 snaps, 21 routes, 6 targets, 9 carries. 6 carries for Braylon Allen on 23 snaps. Arian Smith and Tyler Johnson are your wide receiver 2 and 3 in routes. Mason Taylor is, I think, your de facto second target at tight end. And then for the Bucks, Tez Johnson should be active. So it's going to be Egbuka, Sterling Shepard, and Tez Johnson until Godwin returns. And it sounds like Godwin should return soon. You would think Cade Otton has to have a good game here soon. No targets for him in this one. Don't know what's going on there. And then Bucky and Rachaad White. Bucky dominating the snaps. 53 snaps to 20, 25 carries to 5, 20 routes to 6. Colts destroy the Titans, of course. I don't think the Colts are real. They're 3-0, but they've played a bunch of bad teams. And I think if they play like the Bills, the Ravens, etc., like you're going to be like, okay. Daniel Jones, though, 228 and 1. Jonathan Taylor, 17, 102 and 3. He could have like another 3 touchdowns on the season if they weren't doing the Daniel Jones tush pushes. Michael Pittman, 673 and 1. Alec Pierce, who got concussed, 4 for 70. Tyler Warren, only 3 for 38. He was banged up this week. Titans, Calvin Ridley, who I pretty much full faded, absolute terrible pick, 1 for 27. Chikakonkwo, 5 for 66. And Alec Ayamanor having a good season, 438 and 1. Tony Pollard got a touchdown that it looked like Chimere Dike scored, but whatever. 1645 and 1 for him. So very inefficient for him. Pretty much as normal here. The Adonai Mitchell stuff coincided with the Pierce concussion. Josh Downs is running more routes. Good to see there. Jonathan Taylor dominating the workload, of course. For the Titans, there's like a trillion guys running routes. They're just like throwing stuff at the wall. It's Gunnar Helm. It's Van Jefferson. It's Dike. It's Lockett. But the main two are Ridley, Ayamanor, and Chig, I would say. And then, yeah, Tony Pollard is the only guy there, but the team is terrible. Raiders and Commanders. Okay, officially worried about the Ashton Jeanty stuff, man. I just didn't foresee how bad the Raiders O-line was. Brock Bowers, obviously, he's just a little injured. And then Trey Tucker, man, 3 touchdowns for him. Absurd stuff. That's a win for my rankings. I did have Trey Tucker ranked as, a target at the end of drafts sometime in like early or late July, early August. And I don't think he's going to be like 145 and 3 like he did, but Jack Beck seems like a 0. And yeah, when you're fast like this, good things can happen. I did 8 big dogs and I somehow have 3 Trey Tucker teams. That's random. I wasn't like, yes, let me get my Trey Tucker in the big dog. Of course, wish all my Keandre Lambert-Smith and my Calvin Austin was Trey Tucker after that week, but absurd. Geno Smith, 3 touchdowns. Ashton Jeanty, 17 carries, 63 yards. He just gets hit behind the line of scrimmage, man, and they got to throw him the ball. Outside of Tucker's crazy game, 3 for 63 for Myers, 4 for 38 for Bowers, and Dante Thornton not looking too hot, 2 for 29. Tucker, Myers, Thornton, those are the wide receivers. I think Jack Beck needs a Myers trade. Brock Bowers is running the routes, so better days ahead there. And then 17 carries for Jeanty compared to 5 and 3 for White and Lobby. Only 16 routes, though, compared to 10 for Zamir White. And no targets. You got to get the Jeanty targets. They got to get more creative here. This coaching staff just feels one and done to me. The Raiders, Marcus Mariota wins, 207 and 1. Jeremy McNichols, 478 and 1. Marcus Mariota, 640 and 1. Bill Krosky-Merritt, 826 and 1. So they're playing Rodriguez, who got 11 carries. They're playing McNichols, and they're playing JCM. Looks like Mariota might get another week, but I'm not sure. Terry McLaurin, 3 for 74. Luke McCaffrey, 356 and 1. Didn't even know that. Maybe that came in the blowout. Deebo Samuel, nothing here. Yeah, I'm assuming this stuff is skewed by the blowout. Jalen Lane returned a punt touchdown. Benson not played a lot. I don't know what we're looking at here. 23 snaps for JCM, 22 for Chris Rodriguez, 15 for Jeremy McNichols. That's not really no one is kind of playable if this is the case. Chris Rodriguez leads the way in carries. And then the routes run was Terry, Chris Moore, Deebo Samuel, Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane. Benson Not had 7. Zach Ertz had 18. It's a mess. It's a mess. Yeah, I think Terry got banged up with the quad. Thank you. Forgot that one. And then Jackson Dart. Is that official? Thank God, man. Thank God. Am I worried about Hunter? Long run, no, but in the short term, yes. Okay, Chargers and Broncos. So I watched quite a bit of this game on the plane ride home. Quentin Johnson for sure looks legit. Just flat out looks better. Okay. So ready to say that QJ looking good, man. That does not mean that it's over for Ladd McConkey. The idiots who think Ladd McConkey are not going to have some awesome games are idiots, right? That's what they are. Because you just got to zoom out sometimes. You don't do what Ladd did last year and then not come together. QJ is still benefiting I mean, he had some unrealized air yards, but he looks good, man. 6 for 89 for him. Keenan Allen caught the craziest touchdown ever. This should not have been completed, but 765 and 1 for him. Ladd only 4 for 41. Ladd is like the clearest buy low from like a bad drafter ever. Hampton, Najee tore his Achilles, so sorry to Najee, but Hampton gonna benefit from that. 1970 and 1, and then 6 for 60 in the air. So I think the Chargers were more determined to get Hampton going than they are for Ladd, and then they're going to be like, okay, now we got to get Ladd going. Like they pretty much just throw to the wide receivers. So Chargers win, of course. Broncos, like the Broncos are not that good, man. And I don't think Bo Nix is that good. 153 yards and a touchdown. J.K. Dobbins, 11 carries to Harvey's 2. Like that's got to change. 83 yards for him, though, and a touchdown. Bo Nix, 8 for 33. Cortland Sutton got a long one in this one, 6, 120 and 1. And then, like, literally no one else had any receiving yards for the team. Broncos are rough. Troy Franklin is the second leader in routes. Marvin Mims dropped like 3 touchdowns or was just missed on them. RJ Harvey, 15 snaps to Dobbins 35, 2 carries to Dobbins 11. Like I have QJ in a managed league where I dropped like $500 of fab on him on a Herbert team. It's not one where you can trade because it's high stakes, but like I would love to like package QJ for like someone's worried about. 53 routes for Ladd, 50 for QJ, 42 for Keenan. Like we're gonna zoom out like 6 weeks from now and be like, oh, remember when people thought Ladd was like bad? But yeah, Keenan is getting targets for now. Trey Harris played a lot in this one, 25 snaps, 14 routes only though. Nothing for Keandre Lambert-Smith. And then kind of the story of this one to me was like Arande Gadsden with Will Dissly out. 22 snaps, 15 routes, 6 targets though. He is a rookie. Tyler Conklin, no, unfortunately. And then, yeah, Najee tore his Achilles. Sorry for him. And the Chargers fullback is like the widest human on earth. Look this guy up. When he has pads on, you're like, who is that O lineman? You can't really tell. But like this guy running through the hole to block for you, I don't want to fuck with that if I'm on defense. Saints get destroyed by the Seahawks. I was not too into JSN, and that's unfortunate. Kind of him and Rome, 2 guys I drafted a ton their rookie year, and not as much year 2. Because I was a believer in Darnold. I just was like, well, I like Cook more. I like Mike Evans more. I like the quarterbacks more. But JSN is having a great year. They went 44-13. Charbonnet did practice in full, but did not play in this one. 220 and 2. Ken Walker, very inefficient day. 16 carries, 40 yards, but did score 2 touchdowns. JSN, 596 and 1. Could have been more, but yeah, the Saints are bad. Torrey Horton, 332 and 1. Had some good kick returns too. Cooper Kupp, 2 for 31. Saints land. Olave is like a generational PPR scam. I have a lot of Olave. The good game has to come. 10 for 57. Juwan, 6 for 51. Shaheed, 4 for 42. Kamara, 18 for 42. I do think Kamara could get traded at the trade deadline too. That makes a lot of sense. Defensive tackle they converted to fullback. Like, yeah, man. You get out, you make business decisions against that. Somehow Tyler Shuck only got 2 attempts in this game, despite the Saints losing by like 1 billion points. So, I mean, it's not all Spencer Rattler's fault, clearly, but yeah, it's bad. Team's so bad, I don't think we care about this. It's Olave, Shaheed, Cooks, and Juwan. Kendry's the 2. And then Kupp, JSN, Horton were all tied in routes. AJ Barner out routing Arroyo a little bit. And then Ken Walker, Yeah, nothing. I mean, good day for him, but Charbonnet did practice on Monday, so I think they play on Thursday this week. So we'll have to see what it is when Charbonnet's back, who had like a foot injury. Cowboys get destroyed by the Bears. Unfortunately, the Cowboys, for my DFS lineups and my best ball bags, lose CeeDee Lamb early. 14-31 in this. I think Colston Loveland is a buy low if people aren't hip to it. Like if you could trade some middling tight end for Loveland, I would do it. He only ran, how many routes did he run in this one? He hurt his hip, but I think he's fine. He only ran 5 routes, and he got 3 targets. So I think he was on his way to a breakout game, and he was like a first read look on a bunch of times. He officially had 1 catch for 30 yards where he looked good, and then he hurt his hip. I think it's fine, so he's going to miss either no time or just 1 week. So I don't know if it's going to happen right away just because he did hurt the hip, but yeah, I firmly believe Loveland would have had a breakout game against this terrible Cowboys defense if he did not get knocked out literally 3 minutes in the game. The dude's going off and then gets knocked out. Luther Burden caught a flea flicker touchdown. Rome Odunze benefited from some busted coverage. DJ Moore got a touchdown late in the game. Clearly, Burden and Loveland are going to be things later into the year. It is very encouraging that the talk from the Bears was we're going to see who wants to practice. And then Loveland runs 5 routes and gets targeted 3 times. Right. So okay, they understand. Also the Bears, they've played some teams that were familiar with Ben Johnson. Right? They played the Lions and Vikings, 2 teams who would know the Lions from before. Now they get to play teams that are not familiar with Ben Johnson. They get to play the Raiders. They get to play the Commanders, the Saints. So I do think the Bears offense could be trending up. Caleb Williams looks pretty good to me. I have quite a bit in Eliminator, but very few in Best Ball Mania because I typically wasn't doing I don't typically do quarterback and then take pass catchers. And I was not taking DJ Moore often at all. And I have 6% Rome after having 30% last year. So another flop lag. Should have learned for the Rome one. DJ Moore, I feel fine fading. But yeah, it does seem like Burden and Loveland's best days are ahead. DeAndre Swift, he's the running back. Kyle Monungai's the 2. And I guess Roschon Johnson is a 0. Don't fully know there. Box score, Burden 3-101 and 1. Rome only 3 for 62 and 1. Did benefit from a busted coverage. DJ Moore for 21 and 1. He's a sell to me. Dak Prescott 251 and 1. Javonte Williams 10 for 76. Jake Ferguson 13 receptions, 82 yards. George Pickens 5 for 68 and 1. Kevontae Turpin 2 for 64. Once Lamb went down, it was Tolbert, Pickens, and Turpin. I don't think it's actually good for Pickens that Lamb is gone. You want another guy to pull coverage. Jake Ferguson is a generational PPR scam. And then, man, they got to activate Jaden Blue eventually. This Cowboys team stinks. Their defense sucks. Their offense is fine. But their defense is, so down bad. Cardinals lose a game that they should not have lost. 16-15 to the Niners. Marvin Harrison Jr. dropped probably 2 touchdowns. One that could have been a long one and one just in the end zone. And then James Conner tore his ACL. And so the most brain dead people out there are how dare you say Trey Benson was a bad pick? You can always count on the mouth breathers to victory lap an injury, right? Obviously it's wheels up for Trey Benson with James Conner hurt, but it did take him hurting. I think he hurt his foot is what happened. And yeah, not, oh, we feel bad for James Conner. It's how could you not see a week 3 injury for a guy who's been good his whole career? Well, Benson should benefit. 10 carries for 42 yards for him. Marvin Harrison, 3 for 44. Trey McBride, 543 and 1. He's not allowed to do that. 49ers. I mean, this is rough stuff. Ricky Pearsall, 1 for 120 or 8 for 117. CMC, 10 for 88. CMC, 17 for 52. I'm excited for Ayuk to return, man. I think Purdy should practice soon. Zay Jones is out routing Greg Dortch. We'll have to see what the split is between Benson and DeMar Ricardo, but like Benson should play a ton. There's no excuses for him. I got some eliminator teams with him where I'm feeling pretty excited. And then Ricky Pearsall, Kendrick Bourne, and Sky Moore were your 3 route leaders here at wide receiver. CMC dominating the workload. No touchdowns for him, but 17 carries, 14 targets, 38 routes, 59 snaps. I mean, you got no Kittle, you got no Ayuk, you got no Juwan Jennings in this one. It's just like Pearsall and CMC. So this team should look different in a bit. They're kind of fortunate to be 3-0, and they lost Nick Bosa for the year. So reinforcements are coming for the 49ers, but not next week, I don't think. Chiefs look terrible, but beat the Giants. I mean, I don't think Brian Daboll is just probably not a good coach, man. He should have clearly played Dart like so long ago in this game. I just knew like the Chiefs, somehow the Giants go down into the half after like dropping a fumble touchdown, and where Mahomes knocks it out. And like the Chiefs generally just looking bad on offense. And I knew that once the Giants were down 10, I was like, okay, Giants lose. Like they can't do it on offense. So Dart is not guaranteed to look good, but man, Russ was brutal. And I think we just got the news that Dart is the starter now, which is good. The Chiefs running game sucks. 10 for 45 for Pacheco, 10 for 34 and a touchdown for Hunt. They're a team that could trade for Kamara or Brees. Tyquan Thornton, 5 for 71 and a touchdown. Sure. Giants land. We got some more victory laps for injuries here. Tyrone Tracy was clearly out snapping Scatabo to start this game, something like 80% to 20%. And then Tyrone Tracy hurt his shoulder. He's going to miss 2 to 4 weeks. So Scatabo got all the work. And I mean, Scatabo looked good, obviously, but he was probably going to get out snapped significantly by Tracy if it didn't happen. The other thing you wonder about with Dart in there is like, is Dart going to check it down as much? I don't know. But Scatabo, 10 for 60 and 1. Tracy was 7 for 29 for hurting his shoulder. And then Scatabo led the way receiving, 6 for 61. Like the Giants offense was all runs and screens. It was like the team sucks. Nothing for Malik Neighbors. Anyone to just do anything that Russ was doing. I do think Dart's going to run more, which maybe opens it up for Scatabo, but probably not going to get 6 catches on a weekly basis. Not an interesting team to look at. It was Scatabo and Singletary after Tracy. And then the Lions pretty much destroy the Ravens. It's J-Mo, it's Amon-Ra, it's Laporta, it's Gibbon, Montgomery. Montgomery played quite a bit in this one. Looked good. And Hopkins, only 8 routes. Mark Andrews back from the dead, got a garbage time touchdown to knock out some eliminators for me. And then Derrick Henry, man, a 3rd fumble. So all those people, how dare you fade Derrick Henry? Well, you know, folks, as you get older, you lose grip strength. So Derrick Henry, his 3rd fumble, will have a nice time in the retirement home. I do think Keaton Mitchell, who wasn't active yet again, I do think we're going to see him active after the 3rd Derrick Henry fumble. Like maybe putting a fast guy next to Lamar is going to stress defenses too, you know? And then Isaiah Likely is going to be back. Ravens should be fine, but it is kind of crazy that we're getting the 1-2 Chiefs versus the 1-2 Ravens, and one of those teams is going to be 1-3. Phew. I mean, obviously a joke, but no, I mean, it's weird. It's weird. Well, Andrews, to be clear, scored some garbage time touchdowns here. Like, game was so out of hand and he caught another touchdown. He looked better than the first two, but how could you not? No, I mean, I generally think like Keaton could have some good games. So things are going well in high stakes land for me for best ball, which is exciting. Sitting at like 25 teams for BBM right now. Should trend up. I do have quite a bit of injured guys, I think, which is not helping. Let's see. Kittle, that one's not helping right now. Yeah, 1 of 20 Kittle teams. Mike Evans is not going to help. 3 of 23 teams, so that's not going to help in the short run. I don't think I had a lot of James Conner. 11 teams. Not nothing. So that's not going to help. Najee, 10 teams there. That won't help. Burrow, 11 teams there. That's bad. Trey Tucker, I think I got 7 teams. But my big dog exposure is 37.5%, meaning I have him on 3 teams. So that feels good. Technically only advancing 2 big dog teams right now out of 8, which is above expectation. But a ton of these teams are close, right? Like this team is 350, advancing is 369. Obviously, pure advance rate tells very little right now. This team is 354, advancing is 358. So could advance 4 big dogs, advancing, I think, 4 of my 555s. Jaden Daniels, I definitely is not helping either. And Purdy. Let's see. Jaden Daniels, 0 of 19. Purdy, 2 of 18. So yeah, the injuries are taking their toll right now, which is fine. And I do think that like the Lamb injury, folks, it's gonna feel bad. It's gonna feel bad to like it's so funny how this stuff works, right? Because it's like, oh man, it feels bad that like Lamb is missing some time. But if Lamb advances at 8% and you're able to advance on a Lamb team instead of 20%, well, now maybe you're more likely to win the contest. So raw advance rate is not the full story. I am advancing perfectly average right now, though, with 25. But like, again, it's like, how many teams do you have close? We got a lot of teams that are close. So at the eliminator, got some like Rashee Rice teams advancing. I ended up with 25 teams. Lost a great team due to Trey Tucker, which stinks. Lost a CMC Puka team. To like a bad team. Like this team was hurt. CMC, Warren, Swift, Tootin, Woody Marks, Puka, Smith, Keenan, Igbuka, Keon, Mooney, Kincaid, Trey McBride. Scored 136, which was like a very high scoring score this week. And it lost to this team because they had Lamar, Mark Andrews, and then Trey freaking Tucker. It was Trey Tucker and no one at wide receiver for them. So brutal. And then, this team sucked. It had no quarterback points, but it advanced. So pod luck is part of the story in the eliminator. We know that. Somehow I have 2 Rashee Rice teams live. Those could be fun to get deep. Again, it's like, look, you want as many teams as you can right now, but you give it 3 weeks and like pretty much no one's going to have more than 10. And probably not even in 3 weeks, anyone will have more than 10. So it's like your sweats are going to be very clear. It's like, okay, I want this guy to go off, I do think money starts in the eliminator. So I'm having 25 teams, which is above expectation, right? So after week 2, expectation is 75. After week 3, it's 37.5. And after week 3, it's 18.25. So about 6 teams above expectation. It's fine, right? Again, 25 teams is still a little bit much to like purely sweat. But I think this is like a quality game. It's not about like I want to see a team and feel good about it, you know? Oh, a lot of Jaden Reed is hurting me too for Best Ball Mania. That one stinks. Let's see. This team I feel pretty good about. Herbert, Goff, Chuba, Henderson, Pacheco, Mason. Kind of good. Puka, Amon-Ra. That feels good. Zay, Shakir, Mims, Kincaid, Ertz. Hurts and Stroud, Pacheco. Man, Pacheco feels not good. Saquon, Chase Brown, Cook, and Montgomery. Let's see. Let's see a high-scoring team. I do have 5 teams with James Cook and Puka Nacua. Those are some players you feel good about. Bye start next week in the Eliminator too, so some real chaos is going to start. Kyler and Caleb, good. Cook, RJ Harvey, Swift, Tootin, Trey Benson, Najee. So obviously Najee is a 0, but Trey Benson could be a league winner now. So you're starting to feel good about this, right? Like Tootin and Benson as late round guys, and Swift has been like, bleh. And then Harvey as a late round guy, maybe too. Jefferson and Puka, that's got to be rare. Marvin, by the way, like Wentz is probably going to get a long start if he is winning games. Jerry Jeudy, Keon, Kyle Williams, Yoshi Voss, Kincaid, Mason Taylor, Higbee. I was like generally 2 tight end, and I feel like that is being proven correct. Like the 3rd tight end, you would much rather that just be like a Trey Tucker or Calvin Austin. So that one feels good. This one has Joe Burrow. So despite it feeling good as a roster, that specifically feels bad. Did have James Conner and Trey Benson, though. #sharp. Love and May, Derrick Henry, Cook, Hampton, Walker, Tootin. So good running back room. Puka, Olave, Jaden Reed, Diggs. Well, Puka and Olave feel fine. These guys do not. Tillman and Keenan. Yeah, I don't know. It's thin at wideout. Freaking Amari Cooper, Trey Harris, Jaden Reed, Diggs. Goddard, Gesicki, Higbee. Again, you know, I wish I had another wideout there. Hurts and Mahomes, Cook, Swift, JCM. So a little thin at running back, but Keaton and Dameon Pierce maybe. Nico, Puka, Zay, Jennings, Mooney, Alakai Minor, Juju Smith-Schuster, Lowell, Loveland, and Strange. Again, I think Loveland would be like so chalk this week if he didn't get hurt in that game. Tua, Gino Darnold, Achane, Brees, Cook, Jordan Mason. So even though Connor's hurt, like that running back room feels good. Puka, Jamo, Diggs, Golden, Shaheed. I didn't even like Diggs that much. Stinks seeing him so much. Trey Harris, Hopkins, Nick Westbrook, Akine. This was drafted so early then. Hunter Henry and Cade Otton. Yeah, some of my teams are like, oh, this team advanced, but like, okay. You know? But you never know, man. You could just get lucky a bunch of weeks in a row. These are my Cook teams. You want to see a team that you're just like, yeah, this is the team. This team, pretty good one. CMC, Cook, Henderson, Judkins. Okay, you can work with that. Baker, Trevor, Dart. All right. London, Hunter, Igbuka, Jennings, Keon, Bateman, Diami Brown. Got some injuries, but okay. Loveland, Ott, and Higbee. So this team feels pretty good. Pretty good team there. I did only 2 big elims, and I'm advancing 1 right now. That has Trey Benson on it. So I wish I actually did 10 for this. But hey, we got some Trey Benson high stakes, I guess. Got some on the 555 too. Would you trade Judkins and Hampton for CMC? I would, Joey. But, you know, CMC could get hurt. So But I would definitely be looking to package like quantity for studs, right? Like I tried to trade Judkins for Ladd McConkey, in my league to a guy that needs a running back. All right, folks. Gonna have to end it here. Best ball leaderboard show tomorrow. I'll have to see. It is my girlfriend's birthday. Happy birthday to her. And should be able to go live for a little bit though. And then we'll have rankings for Battle Royale. Had some good calls, but nothing really came together. It was like a super chalky week in DFS land. Jordan Mason, Ken Walker, JT. So that's what I got for you, but we'll have Battle Royale ranks. We'll be live if not Wednesday, we'll be live Thursday. Peace out. Join the Discord. Links below.